Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about how can we be frugal with our transportation in 2023. Did you know that in 2022, the average sales price of a brand new Ford went from $50,000 up to above $57,000? That's an increase of over 10% in 1 year. The inflation is killing our wallets. The fallout for rising car prices is that now insurance for all of us is going up. We've had to add a 16-year-old boy to our insurance. You want to get a reality check about what's frugal and what's not, try to put a 16-year-old boy on car insurance. Honestly, even my own insurance for just myself is going up because these cars are so expensive on the road. And I can't even imagine what the average household car payment is these days. The last car payment I had was in 2008. So I haven't had a car payment in a long time and I don't intend to have one again. And there's one thing that I've been doing over the past 8 or so years that's helped me keep from having a car payment. I've shared it before on my channel that I commute to work on my bike. I've been doing it for a long time. It's easy, it's economical, probably best of all, it's good exercise for me. The average road in my town has a speed limit of 25 miles an hour, and it doesn't take me that much longer to get from place to place. Not to mention in a college town, I never have to worry about parking because I can park right next to the door of the building or the shopping center or wherever I'm trying to go. It is way faster to commute on a bike than most people give it credit. The problem with commuting to work on a bike, in the past it hasn't been within everybody's grasp. Sometimes there's issues with it being too far, sometimes you get too hot, too sweaty. Not everybody has access to a shower. It's not always the most convenient carrying extra gear, lunches, even extra changes of clothes. But I'm finding as I'm looking around on the internet that is changing, and it's changing quickly. And I think that's mostly due to e-bikes. The cost of e-bikes have come down in price. I want to show you my newest commuter bike. It is the Velotric Thunder ST. It was absolutely simple to put together. The boys and I had it together in about 30 minutes. It didn't take much. It came with its own toolkit. And honestly, compared to some other e-bikes that we've put together, it was dead simple. Anybody could do it. I'm not going to geek out too much over some of the features that it has, but let me walk you through some of my favorites. It looks and feels like a normal bike. It has the battery all contained inside the frame. It has a little port at the bottom to plug it in. It has a 350 watt motor, which is usually plenty enough for me to go about 18, 20 miles an hour. I love that it has flat bars. I can still put my bar mitts over top of these because it's still kind of winter, even though it's middle of April in Idaho. It is still only 30 degrees and that gets really cold on your hands. So being able to do that and keep my hands protected is a plus. The seat is very, very comfortable. It doesn't look and feel like one of the big grandma seats, but it is comfortable. When you check out the controls for this bike, it's super easy to use. It really has a power on off button right here, and then it has controls to change the modes here, going up and down, and then a light on off. No computer to worry about. This light changes colors as you change through the different speeds, and there's a key that indicates what mode you're in right here. The shifter here is a Shimano Altus shifter, so it really functions exactly like a mountain bike shifter, and it has a 1x8 speed drivetrain, so there's no front derailleur to mess with, just one simple derailleur in the back. And like I said, it goes through all the gears that I would need for commuting. It doesn't have a throttle. It really only goes on pedal command. It engages the motor with about a quarter of a pedal stroke. I've had other e-bikes where it takes maybe a revolution and a half or so. As soon as I start on that pedal, I feel it kicking in gear. Even when the battery runs out on this, it's still light enough that it works perfectly as a regular bike. The hydraulic disc brakes are so powerful, they're perfect for handling a commuter bike. One finger and you are at a dead stop. Another safety feature that I love is having a light that's attached to the battery. So as long as the bike has power, the light has power, and I can stay safe at night. The tires are thin, but they're not as thin as a road bike. So I feel like they're pretty good as far as being on the road or even on some gravel. I've taken it on both and it handles beautifully. It even has a through axle up here on the front fork. The fork is super stiff, and so far riding around town, it is a very, very comfortable ride. And finally, probably one of the coolest features that turned me on to this bike is that it is compatible with Apple's Find My. It basically has an AirTag built in somewhere to the frame so that if the bike was to be stolen, I can still track it on my phone and get notifications on my phone. I also really like that this bike looks and feels like a regular bike. In fact, some of my friends didn't even know it was an e-bike. I can rack it on my bike rack just fine. On my normal commute to work, on a regular fat bike or other bike, I'm usually riding at about 10 or 12 miles an hour. But when I ride this e-bike, I am 20 miles an hour the whole way. This bike really gets me to work to and from safely and quickly. Not to mention I get there and I'm never sweaty. Not that I'd be sweaty in these temperatures anyway, but I really don't work up a super big sweat because of that pedal assist. Now my normal commute to work is only about 4 miles to and from each day. By my calculations, I save anywhere between $500 to $800 a year. I think riding an e-bike actually extends the range with which somebody can ride and commute to work. It's rated to go about 50 miles on a charge. In the turbo conditions, I'm finding that I'm getting about 10 to 20 miles on a charge, depending on how cold it is. For the record, it's been very cold in Idaho. Temperatures in the mornings have been in the teens, even in the single digits some mornings, even into the month of April, which I am begging for warmer weather soon. And the coolest thing about owning an e-bike is they're not just for commuting. They can be used for so many other things. You've seen in some of our past videos that we include our grandparents in some of our adventures. And having an e-bike like this in the house that a grandparent can ride on and go for a nice ride on gravel or take to the national park is really advantageous. Previous years, I've ridden the opening day of Yellowstone, which actually opens up next week. And so between next week and April 21st, there's no traffic in the park except for bikes and official personnel. Having a bike like this that can go into the park and partake of that opening bike week only is really, really fun. We can get grandparents and those that are a little bit more experienced all to ride together because we have an e-bike in our bike fleet. And perhaps one of the best things is that this bike fits on my bike racks. So I can haul it anywhere I want and take this bike on any adventure, whether we're going to Zions National Park, Yellowstone, Grand Teton, all those parks, I can get this bike there. Velotric is launching the Thunder and the Thunder ST models in April. This Thunder ST model comes in at under $1,500, and I think you get a lot of bike for the money. It really is a fun bike to ride. Gravel, road, commuting, having fun in the park, whatever you're gonna do, this bike actually is a really great option. Based on where I live and how far I ride and commute to work around town every year, I figure it'll take me about 2 to 3 years to do enough commuting to pay this bike off. In the meantime, I also get to use it for lots of fun things. So it's a win-win for me. So the point of the story today is that I think e-bikes make commuting to work much more accessible for a much broader audience. Bikes are really great for commuting. They're a nice way to be frugal, use your resources to the best of your ability. Well, there you have it, guys. The Velotric Thunder is an economical bike. It's super convenient to get to and from places. It's dead simple to use. And to be honest, I think my coworkers are gonna thank me for not arriving at work sweaty anymore. So this is how I'm trying to save a little bit of money, especially when it comes to cars and the economy and inflation in 2023. And thanks to e-bikes like Velotric, it's becoming more and more affordable for more people. Let me know in the comments, how are you being frugal and navigating the crazy inflation that's hitting cars and insurance in the economy in 2023? Until next time, get out there and get riding.